All right, welcome to everybody here that's joined us in council chambers this evening, as well as those that have joined us from home. This is a meeting of the Poquoson City Council from Monday, October 26th, and I'll call this meeting to order and ask that you all please rise, and I'll lead you in the invocation and pledge of allegiance. Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, and thank you for the many blessings we've received in our city. As we move forward with issues before us this evening, we ask for your wisdom and your presence in these chambers, that we make the decisions that are best for our citizens. As well, Father, we ask that a special blessing from you, and that your presence be felt by those who serve our public safety or our military and their families. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Appreciate everybody's participation in that. We have a couple special presentations this evening, and one that's not on council's agenda that I'm just going to ask for a refresher on. But I'm going to start with the new employee introduction. And Battalion Chief Young, I think you have two new employees here that you want to introduce to the public. So, sir.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor.
Great evening.
Mr. Manager. Tonight we have two employees with the fire department, both fairly new for us. The first one I'll start with is Greg Poquoson. He's been here since September, so just over a month now. He's working with us. He came to us with some previous experience from him.
Thank you for the opportunity. Happy to be here.
All right, welcome. Thank you.
And the second I have is Travis Waters. Travis also comes with some experience from Hampton. Prior to that, Travis started his EMS career as a volunteer in Poquoson. So he's finally come full circle around, got his paramedic, and came back to us.
Excellent.
Employee.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming this evening. We appreciate both
They
of
were-
you, and look forward to seeing you out
they were,
there and working with us all.
Being here and a lot of new faces, they were both a little
I understand.
nervous this evening.
I understand. We're all right. We're going to be all right.
Thank you.
But thank y'all for coming. All right, I'm going to step out of order here because a great time's upon us, Halloween, but we got a presentation last week or last meeting. I'll ask Dave Callis to come up and just kind of walk us back through the plans for Halloween in the city of Poquoson, and including the special program that we're doing, in case others did not see that.
Certainly,
Thank you,
Mayor.
Dave.
Certainly. Good evening, Mayor, members of council. As Mayor, as you referenced, Gretchen Gokenauer from our office was here a couple of weeks ago to talk about bringing the Boo to you, the Halloween Boo Crew event. We are excited that the event has, quite frankly, taken off in the fashion that it has. We didn't know with the new event whether it would be embraced by the community, but I can assure you that it has been. I'll go over the event briefly just a second, but I told Gretchen, as far as a new event like this, my expectation would be that if we had 100 participants, that would be pretty spectacular. And as of today, we have 170. So we're going to have to find some more Halloween bags. So if anybody has any of the small bags,
That's okay.
but we're very resourceful. We'll find them. Just to refresh everyone's memory, if I may, what's going to take place with the participation of the City Library and with our staff and with our Parks and Recreation Advisory Board members. We're going to be, I think, in 2 vehicles, now it may be 3 vehicles. We're going to be visiting folks that have signed up with a Boo card in our office. And we'll be visiting on Halloween Day, during the day, certainly not near dusk, but probably between noon, 3, 4. We'll be going to those houses individually Our staff will be in full Halloween costume, and our vehicles will be properly denoted that they are Boo Crew vehicles. So we're hoping to, in an unconventional way, bring some additional Halloween fun to those that may be trick-or-treating or may choose not to trick-or-treat. But that evening, you'll have a card in the bag for the kids that will encourage them to watch the Poquoson Public Library special Halloween night story time. That's going to be broadcast on the library's Facebook page, YouTube, local channel 46 on Cox and 24 on Fios. And we certainly encourage everyone to be mindful, as I'm sure everyone is, of the governor's executive orders, the CDC guidelines for safe social distancing, and the way that you carry forward on Halloween during the day and in the evening. So we appreciate everybody's participation. Today is the deadline, but obviously we've decided to extend that. So if anybody gives us a call in the next couple of days who wants to participate, we're happy to have them. So.
Excellent. Thank you, Dave. And the reason I kind of wanted to reemphasize that, look, it's not lost on me that safety is paramount these days with the pandemic out there. It's also important, you know, that we try to do things that we can as safely as we can. I would just reach out. I've gotten a couple calls from a couple of concerned citizens about it. I would just say, if you're uncomfortable, don't participate this year. If you're comfortable and you can do it safely, and following all the guidelines, I think it can be done safely. So we're going to continue on. The city's offering something different as well. So take advantage of that instead of or in addition to. Okay? And I look forward to seeing Randy in one of those vehicles, I believe. Okay? All right. All right. Thank you, and thank you, council, for your indulgence. Next item on the agenda is an audience for visitors, and I'll ask for, audience for visitors. Is there anybody that wants to speak this evening at council? Mostly staff in the room for those that are watching at home, so I'd say no. And I'll close the audience for visitors and ask council for consideration of the minutes.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve our minutes of our regular session of October 13th, 2020.
Second.
Motion made and seconded that we approve the minutes. Questions or comments of council? Seeing none, Kim?
Councilman Hux,
Aye.
Councilman Southall,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
Councilwoman Andrews,
Aye.
Councilman Cannella,
Aye.
and Mayor Hunt.
Aye.
Mayor Hunt, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, we have a host of items under new business this evening. Most of them are moving money around, so I believe Evie's going to present. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Tanya's going to present. We're just joshing here for around the Halloween season. I noticed that there's a change up here, so.
That would be a nice retirement gift. We could have her come up here and present.
Well,
No, okay. Fair enough. Good evening. Thank you for letting me come up here and present the money. Your first ordinance that I've presented to you tonight is our typical carry forward from the prior year. We have $2,432 in state asset forfeiture for the police department that we need to bring on the books. We have $23,187 in for life for the fire department that we need to bring on the books. And then donations that the libraries did not spend at the end of last year, $7,670. And of course, our street lights that we are trying to convert to LED, we had $7,733 left over from the initial appropriation from last year.
okay. Any questions, council? If not, is somebody prepared with a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt an ordinance making additional appropriations for fiscal year 2021.
Second. Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. We approve the ordinance for fiscal year 2021 for carryover funds for the various city departments. Final questions or comments? Okay, Kim, please.
Vice Mayor Freeman,
Aye.
Councilwoman Andrews,
Aye.
Councilman Southall,
Aye.
Councilman Cannella,
Aye.
Councilman Hux,
Aye.
Councilman Green,
Aye.
and Mayor Hunt.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
All right, the next item is an ordinance making additional appropriations and transfers for fiscal year 2021 for the general fund and capital project fund dealing with the Poquoson City Public Schools.
Okay. In your package tonight, you should have received a letter from Superintendent Tillett concerning the carryover funds that they had available at the end of last year. They had $210,870, $210,870 left over. They've asked for it to be reappropriated, $12,500 to the state security grant, $15,294 to the state technology grant. I have $100,000 to the middle school, but this is for furniture fixtures that they need to put into the school. And then something new that we are bringing to your attention is $83,076 for the PHS gym HVAC system. This is a project that has been in the CCIP, and the former superintendent has brought it to both the Planning Commission and City Council. We do have Superintendent Artie Tillett here tonight to speak about at least the middle school and the HVAC. Welcome to speak about the grants as well.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you. Well, good evening,
Good evening.
Mr. Mayor and members of council, City Manager Wheeler, and Poquoson citizens. I've had the pleasure of meeting several of you individually before tonight, but it's great to see everybody out and have a formal introduction. My wife and I have been very warmly welcomed in the community of Poquoson, and we already love it here, in spite of our timing to move in the middle of a global pandemic. It is a real honor and a privilege to be here this evening on behalf of Poquoson Schools to say thank you for your leadership and continued support for and commitment to the schools and the families of Poquoson. I've heard it said that you can best judge the quality and heart of a community by how it cares for its youngest and oldest citizens. By this standard, Poquoson is truly an amazing place and second to none. And for this, we're all very grateful. We're especially appreciative of your willingness to share a portion of the CARES Act funding that was received by the city with Poquoson Schools. That hasn't happened all over the state of Virginia, and we really appreciate it. Your generosity and forward thinking has made it possible for us to address the extraordinary health and safety mitigation needs of the schools during these challenging times. So tonight, as Tanya said, we're asking you to do three things as we consider the Poquoson Schools reappropriation request. At the close of last year, just a little background information, the schools had a balance of just over $200,000, and this was due primarily to receiving additional unanticipated impact aid funding, sales tax revenue, and a health insurance rebate, and of course careful planning and spending after the onset of COVID-19 in the spring. As a result, we're asking you to reappropriate funds in three ways. First, we have applied for state funding for for security and technology grants, and we're asking for the matching funding for that. And secondly, although the PMS modernization project is on schedule and on budget, we are asking you to appropriate $100,000 toward this project to assist with purchasing new furniture, as new furniture was not originally budgeted for this project. And finally, we're asking for the funding towards the Poquoson High School gym HVAC system. This project was adopted in your capital improvement plan and slated for completion in fiscal year 2024. However, due to COVID, we felt that having air conditioning added now to the gym will provide better air circulation and serve a key role in helping to prevent the spread of COVID-19. And as you know, we're working on a plan for the secondary transition to bring middle and high school students back to school in person very soon. And as well, last week we began athletic conditioning, so some of our student athletes are already using the weight room as we speak. So the Virginia High School Athletic League is also planning to allow winter sports practice to begin as early as December the 7th. So for these reasons, we think it's smart and timely to move forward with the HVAC system in the high school that I've been told has been talked about for some years. And lastly, I want to give you a very brief update on the Poquoson Middle School Modernization Project. We've just learned that the architects are currently finalizing the construction documents, and the city is conducting the site plan review. We will be advertising for bids on November the 8th, and the bid opening will take place on December the 15th, so it's happening very quickly. And at the school board meeting in January, we will consider approval of the contract award. Substantial completion is still expected by October 2022, and we are planning for students to attend school in the newly renovated Poquoson Middle School for the second semester in January 2023. So again, I want to thank you all for this long tradition of great partnership with between local government and the schools, and we really appreciate it, and thank you.
Thank you, Artie, and appreciate you coming this evening to present that, and we'll give you the credit instead of the former superintendent about the HVAC system, because we've been waiting for a long time.
Well, I appreciate that. She deserves most of the credit for a lot of these projects. She got the wheels moving, and we were very fortunate to have some federal money that just came our way to make this project come to fruition. But thank you. Appreciate
Excellent,
that.
and welcome to the community.
Thank you so much.
All right, council, any questions, or somebody prepare with a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt an ordinance making additional appropriations and transfers for fiscal year 2021 for general fund and capital project fund.
Second.
A motion made and seconded that we transfer some money around and fund a few capital projects in the Poquoson City Public Schools. Questions or comments? Okay, Kim, please.
Councilwoman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Canella? Councilman Southall?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman?
Aye.
Councilman Hux?
Aye.
Councilman Green?
Aye.
And Mayor Hunt.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Okay. The next item is an ordinance making additional appropriations for fiscal year 2021 for the general fund, and this deals with Federal CARES Act funding. Tanya?
The third item that I bring to you is related to the CARES allocation. This is the second allocation that the city received. Part of this allocation will go to the HVAC gym. $160,000 of that is needed. Again, in order to make the HVAC system work for the gym, we had the reappropriation that you just approved. $160 coming from the city, as well as the schools has CARES funding that they plan on to make the project complete. It's also noticed with CARES Act, it has to be installed and completed by December 30th. All those terms will be met after discussing with Steve Pappas in the schools relating to that. The second item is $261,000 to reimburse the city for eligible or designated employees that jobs have changed due to COVID. And that'll round out that second allocation, because we had 421 that was undesignated when you approved it. So I'm bringing this back to your attention tonight.
Okay. Questions of Tanya?
Oh, apologize. And the fourth thing is a vehicle. My apologies. When you appropriated $115,000, we were able to purchase 3 hybrid or EcoBoost vehicles for the city. We have funds remaining, and we are requesting for a purchase of a 4th vehicle.
Okay.
My apologies.
Thank you. All right. Any questions? If not, somebody prepared with a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt an ordinance making additional transfers for fiscal year 2021 for the general fund.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. We approve this ordinance making additional appropriations for the Federal CARES Act funding that the city has received. Final questions or comments? Seeing none. Kim, please.
Councilman Green?
Aye.
Councilman Hux?
Aye.
Councilman Canella?
Aye.
Councilman Southall?
Aye.
Councilwoman Andrews?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman?
Aye.
Mayor Hunt.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
All right. And the next one is an ordinance making additional appropriations, again for fiscal year 2021, for South Lawson Park Picnic Shelter.
Okay. Mr. Callis and myself have the privilege of presenting this to you tonight. Originally, you approved $25,000 towards this project. We received 2 grants from the Peninsula Community Foundation towards this project, and then we had money left over from the electronic signpost that looks so great outside here that we were able to put towards this project. We did contract with an architect to get a rendering. That way everybody could utilize the same rendering and provide a bid based on the rendering. From this, we had bids come in. They were higher than anticipated due to, number one, a couple things going on. Prices have gone up. Hurricanes have hit other agents. Wood has become the new toilet paper, unfortunately, so it is scarce. And of course, the design that we have here is a little bit more superior than what we originally thought to be. So we are requesting council, we have a couple options. The first option is we can appropriate an additional $29,000 towards the project. We have identified a revenue source. Sales tax have done extremely well for the first 3 months, better than I anticipated for the budget. We can, of course, reach out to a community organization to see if they're willing to build it. And of course, a third is to hold tight, see what happens as we go down the roads, anticipating that the wood will come down, cost to do things will come down in the future.
Okay.
Of course, for tonight, for those listening at home, we do have the architectural plan on site, as well it is listed under the Finance Department as far as the RFP that we did put out.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any questions of Tanya? Because I know there's some discussion amongst council. Any questions of Tanya? Okay. Not? Thank you. All right. Probably be best to start, if there's going to be a motion, to start with a motion and then go with the discussion from there.
Should I include what I'm proposing in the?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, then I would like to move that we approve an ordinance making additional appropriations and transfers for fiscal year 2021 for general fund and capital project funds, and that I'd like to present for council's review a 4th option, that we appropriate the funds, but that we review the plans between the engineering department, and I'd be happy to volunteer as a contractor to help do the review, review these plans, and then rebid it. My experience has been, as a contractor, a lot of times when the bids all come in over the budget, some slight modifications are made to save some money, and when contractors take a second look at their bid, almost every time it comes in lower than what was projected or what was bid the first time. So I would like to include that in the motion, that we review it and rebid it.
I'll second that.
All right, so we have a motion made and seconded that we approve. So the way I understand what you've just said is that we approve the funding up to the maximum limit of $29,165. We ask our staff to go back through the drawing, make modifications as necessary. We rebid it, but they won't have to come back to us if they receive a better bid. And that also will give them some time to see if lumber prices adjust over time. Is that your thought process? Okay. All right. Any questions on that or any discussion amongst council?
Mr. Mayor,
Mhm.
yeah, just, the one thing I might add, and Councilman Green is certainly aware of this through all his work with the various organizations he's a part of. Too, I know we have some community groups right now that have been pretty disgruntled over the course of this year because they haven't been able to do as much as they usually do. So certainly incorporate what groups are willing to help when we get this thing rolling. So I know we got a lot of good people out there and a lot of good construction companies and contractors in this city that I know would love to help. And if I can be a part of that and get in contact with some folks, let me know. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
from my experience with the Exchange Club, which y'all know that we primarily build handicap ramps, and we're very mindful that if the somebody comes to us and they have the wherewithal to hire a contractor, we don't want to take work away from local contractors. And also, most of the service organizations are aging. So asking a bunch of old retired people to get out there and build something as fancy and as substantial as this is asking quite a bit.
Well, hold on now, the vice mayor was just getting ready to step in.
To do it by himself? All right.
I agree with you, buddy. I think just kind of closing this out, and then I'll open it back up if anybody has a final comment, but I think it's important for the city to sometimes do things for the city. You know, we depend a lot, and our volunteer organizations help us an awful lot in this city. I'll tell you, we wouldn't be the city we are without some of the projects. And in specific, when I look at South Lawson Park and I look at what the Lions Club alone has done for us down there, sometimes I think it's time for us to step up. So I believe that it's a good motion, a good plan ahead, thoughtful in the way that we spend the taxpayers' money, but also that it's a priority to us. So thank you for that. I'll open it back up one more time before we take a vote. Okay, seeing none, Kim, please.
Councilman Cannella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilman Green.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman.
Aye.
Councilman Southall.
Aye.
Councilman Hux.
Aye.
Mayor Hunt.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Okay, next item is a resolution making an appointment to the Wetlands Board. I don't think we're prepared to move forward with that. Is there a motion to defer
Mr. Mayor,
or postpone?
there is a person that possibly could serve, but I've not been able to get in touch with him. So I would move that we postpone this until our next meeting, and I will contact him and make sure he's willing to serve as an alternate.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion made and second. We postpone the resolution to the Wetlands Board. Kim, please.
Councilman Southall.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman.
Aye.
Councilman Hux.
Aye.
Councilman Green.
Aye.
Councilman Cannella.
Aye.
Councilwoman Andrews.
Aye.
And Mayor Hunt.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Okay, thank you very much. And then the resolution canceling the second meetings of the months of November and December of 2020. Somebody prepared with a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we adopt a resolution on, excuse me, let me find it.
Canceling.
Sorry about that. Adopt a resolution canceling the second meeting of the months of November and December for 2020.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. We cancel the second meetings of the months of November and December around the holiday season, as we traditionally do. Questions or comments? Not. Kim, please.
Councilman Hux.
Aye.
Councilman Southall.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Freeman.
Aye.
Councilman Green.
Aye.
Councilwoman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilman Cannella.
Aye.
And Mayor Hunt.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Very well. Randy, comments of the city manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. I'll be brief, just a few things this evening. As council is aware, Evie Inslee, your clerk and our assistant to city manager, persists in her plans to retire despite our efforts to get her to reconsider. So we've gone ahead and completed the process to appoint Kim Healy to the position of assistant to the city manager effective January 1st upon Mrs. Inslee's retirement. Recognize her. She probably wouldn't have stood out here to stand up here with me to do it, but we'll take advantage of the fact that she's sitting there and can't easily get away. I would note in a little furtherance of what Mr. Cal said previously, that if folks are interested in understanding the CDC or the VDH guidelines for both Halloween and for this upcoming holiday season, which includes not just Halloween, but the rest of the season as well, that information is available on the VDH, Virginia Department of Health website, the CDC website, and we have a fair amount posted on our website as well. And those are resources for folks, so we encourage them to look at it. And just lastly, I want to thank you for your vote on the shelter. I look forward to working with Councilman Green, Tom Jones as well, to see about value engineering that design and bringing that project in. One thing that may not have jumped out at you because you didn't have the two sets of plans next to each other, but one of the gentlemen that was instrumental in the Aquatic Interpretive Center, which is at Messick Point, did a schematic comparison recently for us, and what we've got here proposed is about a little more than 2.5 times the size of the one at Messick Point, to give you a sense of the difference in scale. And that's all I have. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. All right, council directives. Bud?
Yeah, I'd like to welcome our new city employees, Greg Hahn and Travis Walters, and wish Miss Evie well in her future endeavors, and congratulate Kim Healy on her new position. Also would like to thank the citizens at home watching the city council meeting and paying attention to the government, and tell them to invite their friends, okay? And hope everybody has a nice and safe week, and stay safe.
Very well, thank you. Councilwoman Andrews?
I just concur with Councilman Southall's comments and don't have anything additional.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Canella?
Nothing this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, Councilman Hux?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to thank the school superintendent, Mr. Artie Tillett, for being with us tonight. And I'd also like to thank Councilman Canella and Councilman Green for their offer to assist staff with the shelter at South Austin Park. Thank you, gentlemen.
Was that assist as an assist building, or was that assist as?
I think he's looking for a donation.
That's open to interpretation.
Okay, thank you very much. Councilman Green?
Just echo everything that's been said so far, and tell Miss Evie we're certainly going to miss you. You have done a super job, and welcome, Kim. To remind everybody that the mobile food pantry is tomorrow from 10 to 1 at the Old City Hall. Our hosts this time are the Poquoson Women's Club and the Poquoson Garden Club, and it will be another drive-through, which everybody seems to enjoy that because they don't have to get out of the car, and we'll load the food up for them, and it works out really well. So hope everybody will show up from 10 to 1.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Vice Mayor?
I've gotten a lot of compliments on the early voting in town from our citizens. That is apparently going really, really well. And also convenience site operations that citizens have complimented how good that is. And other than what's already been said, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you very much. Evie, thank you for what you do, and you still have to do it for another month and a half. Okay. And Kim, thanks for what you will be doing, and you're going to have to do it for the next 20 years. So.
You let her off easy.
I know.
I thought it was 25.
It could be 25. I don't know. But no, thank you all for being here. Artie, thank you for coming for the schools. Really appreciate your presentation and what you're going to do. And I think you shared with us that you're the only school superintendent that came in the middle of a pandemic and building a new middle school. So thank you for that. And look forward to your success in leading through that. So appreciate your efforts there. And staff, the rest of you, appreciate everything you do every day. So never think that I don't think about that. I'll take a motion now to adjourn.
So move, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. We adjourn. Kim, please.
Vice Mayor Freeman.
Aye.
Councilwoman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilman Southall.
Aye.
Councilman Canella.
Aye.
Councilman Hux.
Aye.
Councilman Green.
Aye.
And Mayor Hunt.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor, the motion carried by a vote of 7-0.
Very well, and we are adjourned.